Welcome back to another episode of our NRLW Round 7 preview. Either the podcast or the video, however you're listening or watching. Once again, thank you for all your support. Try and get the better setup here. They've got the microphone going, the cameras, things like that. So stay with us. Hopefully everything is sounding well and good on both ends. And look, massive weekend of rugby league, of NRLW football. And quickly, Alex from Watch Her Footy got to enjoy up close and personal scenes, I believe.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. Like I said last week, if you guys watched that episode, yeah, me and Neha got to go down to Sydney and with the Dragons, a double header there at Netstrata Jubilee, sort of go behind the scenes and onto the field. And yeah, Neha got to take a lot of photos and yeah, just a cool behind the scenes experience that yeah, we're really grateful for. And hopefully we can line some more opportunities up and get more, exclusive content out on the page.
It would have been good. You got to see a freak in action at the moment, which is Tegan Berry, which we will get to, who had a I know she was on the losing end, but honestly, it was one of the best individual performances I've seen in both an NRL and an NRLW game. So let's get to the results from last weekend. It was a really good round of football, as we were talking about. And but let me just quickly bring this up. Obviously, the internet wants to work slowly now, and we need it. But what about just quickly? Let's talk about Tegan Berry, because I do want to bring her up while I'm waiting for this to load. And did you notice anything with how, because they always say those champion players and things like that, you just notice things differently. There's like an aura about her. Do you notice anything when she's obviously getting ready, warm-ups, things like that?
Yeah, she looked really focused, just really, sort of not by herself, but in her own zone, really focused. And it was her 20th game, so they're sort of honoring that as a milestone. There was I guess, like a photo mural you could call it on the wall of all her different photos throughout her career. So it was a big moment, I guess, for her. So yeah, she was really looking locked in before the game and really sharp, and even doing practicing when they're on the field warm up before. I think she was practicing little kickoffs and little extra things by herself, and yeah, looked really focused before the game, and clearly it paid off.
No, it certainly did. So just going off those results, round 6, the Eels got their first win, 16-12 over the Cowboys. The Titans, as you said, in a tight one by 1 point, 23-22 against the Dragons. The Roosters just continue to roll on, 48-10 against the Tigers. The Broncos really are flexing the muscles here for one of the heavyweights, which I know Watch Her Footy would have been wrapped about, 40 points to 8 over the Raiders. The Knights 22 defeated the Cronulla Sharks 14, and just the latter, you got the Roosters and Knights on top, 10 points, 5 wins, 1 loss each. The Titans, Raiders are next, third and fourth, both on 8 points, so 4 wins, 2 losses. Then you got the Broncos on fifth, all alone on 6 points. The Sharks, Tigers, Dragons, and Cowboys are all on 4 points. The Eels still on the bottom of the ladder, but did pick up a victory, so good to see there. Look, I know a little bit of what's happened in this next segment. I'm pretty pleased to. I think everyone can notice if they're watching the video. We've got a bit of a different aura this week. We've got a bit more happier about things. Let us know about these try scoring predictions from last weekend, please, Alex.
Yeah, well, just quickly, I think it was our best week for both of us. So I think we've been lingering around the 1 or 2 out of 5 each week, but we've done a little bit better. So first game, I had Mahalia Murphy, and you had Jasmine Peters. I got Mahalia, you didn't get Jasmine. Then the second game, I had Shaylee Bent, you had Karina Brown, you got Karina Brown. Then we both got it in the next game. I had Isabel Kelly, you had Mia Wood. Next game, Grace Kemp, you had Julia Robinson, so you got Julia. And then the last game, I got Georgia Ravix, and you had Sheridan Gallagher, who didn't score. So we both ended up on 3 out of 5. So we'll take that.
How good? How
Yeah,
good?
overall, I'm 9 out of 25, and you're 8 out of 25. So yeah,
Hey.
better week.
That was better than it could have been, so I will take that. We are wrapped with that. Performances of the week. Look, team-wise, I'm going to go the Brisbane Broncos, just with the, as I said earlier, just the flexing of the muscles. And we know for years they've been probably the team has been the benchmark of the competition. So I feel like it was a good time for them to have this display against one of the teams who are rated a good chance in this competition as well. And some of those players who we questioned last week probably stood up and really showed that they belong on this team and have made this team what it is. For an individual side of things, you can't go past Tegan Berry for mine. Absolutely fantastic. A couple of the stats I had to write down because I was reading them going, oh, I can't believe what I'm reading really. 15 tackle breaks, 4 line breaks, 22 runs, 287 run meters, 42 post contact meters, and 4 tries as well. Like it was ridiculous what I was watching. Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, we'll actually have the exact same. So yeah, Broncos really impressed me. I think I wasn't expecting that big scoreline win against the Raiders. They've been really good. I think I said last week it was going to be one of the lowest scoring games of the round, a really tight tussle. But yeah, they completely came out and definitely the most impressive. I mean, you could obviously go the Roosters, but they're just impressive every week. So the most surprising I'd say was the Broncos, and then yeah, Tegan Berry. I mean, you've covered it all already, but I think when they needed something to happen, she just said, "Give me the ball," and made it happen. So yeah, been one of the form players of the comp this season, and she's just getting better each week.
And I think that's a good thing that you bring up is that she doesn't hide or anything. She actually goes looking for the ball and she wants to be the one that changes the momentum for the team or win it for the team. She's one of those players which you just love to watch. You know that they're on their game when they're doing that, especially coming from the wing where it would have been hard for her to probably get used to having that responsibility of being in the field looking for the ball, where it just seems so natural now for her to play in that position.
Yeah, it does. I mean, she's just come in and just looks like she's played there her whole career. Like, seems such a waste to have her on the wing now. I can't imagine her going back to the wing. It just get her at fullback, get her involved, get her hands on the ball around the ruck, just speed to burn and so dangerous. So, yeah, I think
Yeah.
she'll be at fullback for the rest of her career now.
She will be as well. And let's now look ahead to our round 7 preview. I'll tell you what, for a tipping point of view, I think this is one of the hardest weeks to date, and that's saying something because we've had some hard weeks tipping. So there's some absolute crackers this weekend, which I feel like we are saying every week. It's really good how this competition has been this year, and it's really a benefit and a tick really to the NRL and NRLW of how they've organised everything and doing things. The Raiders come fourth against the Knights, second place, the 11:05 time slot at GIO Stadium in Canberra. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, should be a good game. I mean, the Raiders back in Canberra where they've been a lot better this season, so a little bit of a home ground advantage. And they've sort of been slipping the last few weeks. I mean, they've still won 2 out of the last 3 games, but I think their performances have been a little bit off. And then it sort of all just came to that Broncos performance where it all really fell apart. So on the night side of things, I think they're clicking, and like the Raiders a bit when they're at home, they're using that home crowd energy. I think we saw like 20,000 fans watch that NRLW game in Newcastle. Obviously, the game before the men's, which helps the crowd numbers. But yeah, such a good atmosphere there. So atmosphere, yeah, the crowd might help the Raiders a little bit, but I just think the Knights will be too good. I don't see it being a blowout, but I think the Knights will get the job done.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think just I was a little bit worried with what I've seen some from the Raiders last week in terms of I know it's back at home, but just a little bit of things maybe dropping away a little bit just as a new team coming into this competition. So I think Knights are just classy at the moment. Every time you watch them, I know they've got the superstars, but weekly it's some of these lesser known players who are stepping up and doing just having amazing 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 games. And it's really good to see for a team dynamic, all those players stepping up and they're a real danger in this competition. I think the Newcastle Knights. What about your player to watch?
Well, yeah, someone who I think the Raiders will need to stand up in this one, Zahara Tamara. We know Samara Tafel shows up every week, but I think Zahara's been a little bit quiet. So if the Raiders are to win, which, I still give them a chance in a close one, I think Zahara will have to have a big game.
Yeah, and we've seen her actually do that a few weeks ago, where she had that massive game back at home and led them to the victory. So she definitely has that in her. I think, yeah, as you said, that's definitely needed for her this week. I'm going the captain of the Knights, Hannah Southwell. I think everyone obviously knows the sister very well, and the sister is in the limelight week in, week out with. But I really like what I've seen from Hannah this year. No doubt, obviously being captain, she's a great, fantastic footballer, but I just don't think she gets the rap she deserves, and the hard yards and everything that she does off the ball. I was watching her a lot on the weekend. It just goes so unnoticed, but she's literally the glue that holds this Knights team together. I feel like if she was the one to get injured, it'd be panic stations for the Knights in a way, because I think she's that good at just doing everything and being under the radar with what she does.
Yeah, definitely. I think she tore her ACL, I think, in the 2021 season or started 2022. They still managed to go on and win the comp, but obviously they had a lot more of a stacked team, I would say.
Yeah.
I think she rested in the Broncos game. We saw the Broncos sort of, well, in my opinion, be the better team, but end up losing. So the Knights definitely looked off that day, did enough to come back and win. But yeah, she's probably, yeah, she doesn't stand out on the field if you don't really notice it. But when you're watching her, really, such good tackle technique as well. I mean, probably one of the better defenders in the competition.
Yeah, definitely there. Predicted try scorer. Let's see if we can get better than the 3 from 5. We're improving, so let's keep going.
Yeah, I'll go. So the Raiders have conceded 2 weeks in a row now to both centers. So both centers have scored against the Raiders. And Shanice Parker has scored a double 2 weeks in a row. So we'll go Shanice Parker to get one more at least this week.
You stole mine. Lucky I've got
Oh,
a
no.
second up my sleeve. Look, I'll go back to the night, the wing bandwagon. Then I'm going to go Jasmine Strange this week. I had Shanice Parker as my first choice, but look, Jasmine, you didn't let me down last time I chose you, so please, we're going to go again this weekend. Broncos versus the Sharks, 5th versus 6th. Another fantastic game of footy. Cannot wait for this one. 12:50. First of a double header at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Loving these double headers that the NRLW put on. Thoughts on this one? This is going to be a classic, I feel.
Yeah, I think it definitely will be a good game. I think I've said every week Sharks have been underwhelming and disappointing, but on paper, they're a team that's going to compete. I just was expecting more from them so far. Time is running out for them. They've been, decent and hanging around in games, and even against the Knights, sort of mounted a comeback, but still lost 22-14. So I guess a Broncos team now that is, you could probably say is firing and one of the form teams of the comp just after last week. Up in Townsville, not really a home ground advantage. They've both played there and beat the Cowboys with the exact scoreline, 40-12. So they both, have happy memories up there in Townsville. But leaning towards the Broncos, I just think the Sharks have been too inconsistent this season.
Yeah. Look, I'm with you with the Sharks. I feel like they're very frustrating to watch at times, but I actually gave them a pass mark for last week's effort because it was up at Newcastle, as you mentioned. The home crowd has been getting so behind this women's team. It's so good to see, and it was almost already packed. So the atmosphere is ridiculous. No doubt the Newcastle players were so up for this game. It wasn't funny, and they got away to an absolute flying start. And I remember thinking at that time, I was thinking, Knights are going to embarrass the Sharks here. Like this could get messy, and the fact that the Sharks sort of got it back in a way and only got lost 22-14. I like to see that. And I think the coach might like to see that as well. But it's getting to the point for them now. They need to start to take one of these big scalps and get it done and not just be in the game either. So on that, I think the Broncos in a tight one. I just like what I've seen from them last week. Stars all over the park are really stepping up and making their position their own. So the Broncos for mine in a tight one. Player to watch.
I'm gonna go Gail Broaden. I think last week she really had a great game, and I just think when she sort of goes down that left side and unlocks that attack, it really opens it up for Mela Hufanga on the left, and she's so dangerous with ball in hand in the front line this season. Obviously made the move from fullback, so yeah, I think Ali Bringshaw, she broke her nose, but I think she is still playing. So if she's not,
She's
then
listed. Yep.
even more so Gail to look out for. But yeah, Dale Broughton.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually wrote down the battle between Broughton and Tanagato as my little thing to watch, and so it's good that you raise her Gail's points up as well. So really looking forward to both players. Their strength is their running game. It's really just they're probably two of the best ball runners in the competition. So I'm really looking forward to seeing who can get on the other's sort of nerve in a way, just with how they play their footy, and no doubt it'll be a personal little grudge match for them as well. So really, really looking forward to both these 5'8s going at it.
Yeah, I think, like you said, they're both, their strength is their running game. Probably coming from fullback, their ball playing isn't as good. I'm sure it's skills they'll develop. But yeah, I want to see them run more every time I'm watching both of them play. It's so exciting. The strong run is hard to stop. Probably Gale more on like the steppy side of things, more agile and more exciting potentially. But Emma Tonegato so strong and hard to handle. So it should definitely be a good battle.
Yeah. What about your try scorer in this one?
Look, I might let you go first on this one because I think you might have the same, and then I have a little backup just in case.
Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Mala Hafunga to score here. I think she's been in a rare patch of form this year. Very hard to stop. But I do like the battle with like her and Tiana. Tiana Panatani as well. So it's going to be a really good battle. But I think she's just doing enough at the moment. She should get across the line.
Yeah, that is who I had, but I'm not sure if Melee and Ash Werner are still on the same side, or if Julia Robinson's now gone to that left wing. So if it is Melee and Ash, I think they've looked a bit like of the weak side just from what I've seen, and they have conceded a few tries down that wing. So that's Georgia Ravix again. I picked her last week, and she scored for me. So if it is that combination, then I'm be confident to go Georgia Ravix. But if it's Julia Robinson and Hufunga, then yeah, it changes things a little bit. But I don't know, can't remember, so I'll just lock in Ravix.
We've stolen each other's pick already both times. So let's see if this pattern continues. Cowboys 9th versus Dragons 8th. Again, another blockbuster clash for two teams that are really hard to separate on paper and form and how they're playing. We've seen the Cowboys be a bit different when it gets to playing at home. They're a different team, but I just can't. I never can go away from this Dragons outfit. I don't know, it's the Tegan obviously factor, but I just I feel like there's a really good team in there. It's just so it's again it's similar to the Sharks. It can get frustrating at times to watch them because I feel like they're so good.
Yeah, I think. Well, this week is definitely like a do or die. I don't know about the maths of it to make the top four, but I think whoever loses this week, we can probably rule them out of making the run for the finals. I think the Cowboys obviously losing to the Eels last week would be pretty disappointing. But I think I tipped the Eels upset last week on here, saying if they're going to win, it's
Yeah,
going to be last week, and they got up for me. So and I now have tipped the Cowboys. So I wish you
yeah,
wish you went
and
for the Eels.
it's
Got the upset on the page, but oh well. Yeah. So it's just they have been hit with a few injuries, both sides really. So Dragons, yeah, they just keep coming back in the second half. I think we put up a post about the ladders in like the first half and second half, and they'd be I think sitting second if it was based on their second half performances. So it's just crazy the difference of their halves. I don't know what they need to do to fix up their first halves, but yeah, I just haven't seen enough for the Cowboys, to be honest. They have been just a bit mediocre this season, and I think, like you said, the Dragons are one of the frustrating teams to watch because they have so much excitement and potential. And I'm actually thinking they could win in a big way this week if they sort their first half out, and I'm going to back them to do it. I'll back them to fix up the first half and just keep the energy up in the second half, and could win big.
it's a credit to them as well because obviously that shows they are a fit team. They just got to get their mind frame right when they're running out. If I reckon, because if they do a complete 70-minute performance, I think they're the team. They're a team in here that can actually hold it for 70 minutes. There's no concerns there. It's just that they've got to get this start right. I don't know what they're going to do for it, but get each other on the board. Look, I caught it the other week. I'm calling another one here. I'm going the draw after 70 minutes. I can't separate these two. I think this is possibly the hardest tip I've had to do so far this year. I can't separate. I know the Cowboys have a couple out, which is what I'm a bit concerned about, but I like what I see when they get to play at home. So it's just hard to separate. And who knows? It could be a Teganberry try in extra time that gets the Dragons home. player to watch. I'll throw one out. Obviously, I've just got the superstar at the moment, Tegan Berry. If someone's just new to this and listening to this for the first time, and please do yourself a favor, 310, watch Channel 9 and just watch her in action, because it's actually mind blowing at the moment what she's coming up with. Just, I know it's an obvious choice to choose, and we want to choose some different players, but it's at the moment. Please just do yourself a favor and watch her.
Yeah, I mean, that's my player to watch as well. It's hard to
Yeah.
pick anyone else with the form she's in. I mean, there's obviously a few more, well, a lot more players out there that are exciting and have the potential to do anything. But yeah, hard to go past Barry as someone to keep your eyes on.
Yeah. You can have first try score of this one.
Yeah, well, okay. I was gonna let you go first because I just gonna have to say Tegan Berry because
Yeah.
she just wants her hands on the ball, and when something needs to be done, she gets it done most of the time. So yeah, Tegan Berry to score again.
Again, you're stolen. So we've done 3 from 3 in the stealing department here. This is this is how good and close it is now.
Uh,
I thought we can read each other's minds now. Jasmine Peters is my selection. She didn't get there last week, so I'm going to stick with her. I think she can get across this week and in the centre, a bit more attacking, free flowing footy. I think with the Dragons opposition. So yeah, I'll lock in Jasmine Peters. The Sunday game first at 12:03 time slot. We're loving it. Seabus Stadium. Titans versus the Tigers, third versus seventh. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, I still don't get the 12:03 time slot. I don't know what the
I
point
don't.
of it is. It's so random. It seems like we've made a typo every time we put the fixtures up or something. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I think Tigers pretty disappointing last week. I mean, obviously against the Roosters, but now they have Togatuki out as well in the middle, who's essentially the glue for them. Like you're saying about Hannah Southwell, such a powerful player for them, and inspires her team. I think around her. So
that was
the
this
Titans.
suspension, wasn't it? Suspension.
Yeah, I think I don't know what it was for. Did dangerous throw or high contact, hip drop, one of
Yeah.
those. But I think she is missing 1 week, so yeah, it's a huge out for them. I think the Titans are pretty much full strength. Could be wrong. But yeah, the Titans this season they've been actually really bad in the first halves. I think they're sitting like second last for first half performances, and then on the other side, Tigers.
Hmm.
Um, their second halves have been really poor. I think their second last and second halves, they've been kept scoreless 3 times this season in the second half. So I'm confident the Titans can win. Like we saw the Tigers, they started the season 2-0, really good. Now they've lost what four in a row now. So I think the Titans they'll get the job done at home and at the Gold Coast.
And slowly but surely, now it's getting closer and closer to a preseason prediction where she copped a lot of backlash, but she's almost a told you so now with the last place. Yeah, look, I've got to go to the Titans as well. I think you summed it all up really well there. I just think the Titans are going to be just too strong for the Tigers at the moment, who are looking at like they're struggling a little bit now with the competition going a bit further in. That initial excitement phase has sort of worn off some of these new teams, and it's just that real slog, especially being a longer season for the first time and things like that. So up the Titans there. I still think it'll be pretty close though. Player to watch in this one.
Yeah, just because she's moving from dummy half to back to halfback, Lauren Brown. I don't think she's played there yet this season. So we've seen her rotate the hooking role with Brittany Brillinati and Sienna Lafipo normally in the half, but she's moved to number 14. So just I'd keep an eye on Lauren Brown. I prefer her at dummy half, Lauren Brown. I didn't really love her when she moved to halfback last season or last year, whatever it was. I just sort of a fan of her at dummy half. So just keep an eye on her, see what she does.
Yeah, look, I want to get your thoughts on this one. My one is Ivania Paliti. I just want to know how you feel, because I know she started the year so well, and she was honestly probably the form player of the competition for probably the first 2 to 3 weeks. And I don't know if it's a product or a result of the Titans form has sort of dipped a little bit, but I feel like maybe the excitement of Tegan Berry's taken over and we don't notice her as much. But I think this could be a game where she really decides to step up and get back to that level of being that main star player. What are your thoughts on Ivania's form at the moment?
Yeah, well, she did start the season really well, and like you said, probably Tegan Berry maybe masking her performances a little bit and just taking a back seat. But you look at her stats from last week, Ivania, she scored a try, had 21
Still
runs,
good, still good.
220 run meters, 11 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks. Like it's still
Yeah,
crazy stats. I think we're just expecting it now from her every week. So if she's not scoring 2 or 3 tries, we sort of think she's had a bad performance. So I think she's been great still. I think she just does her work, and yeah, it's just like her benchmark is just so good. So if she's not
yeah,
exceeding it, you're not really thinking about it too much. But I think, yeah, one of the best players in the comp this year.
yeah. I think you summed it well. I think she'll just absolutely set this game on fire. Basically, she's going to be electric in this one. Predicted try scorer for this one.
Yeah, I'll go. So we saw Tegan Berry, the fullback, obviously score 4 tries against the Titans. I think BBW has been a bit quiet the past few weeks, so I'll back her in for a try.
Look, I reckon we've just been speaking about it. I'm going to lock in Ivania Paletti to score. I'd go as far as saying I reckon she'll score a double, but yeah, just put me down. I'll be safe and say 1 try. So we're not going too good at this at the moment, so I'll keep on the safe side of things. Last game, it's first versus last. The Roosters versus the Eels. 150 at Industry Group Stadium at Gosford. Thoughts on this one? It's obviously looking like it's going to be a ship that's tilted one way massively.
Yeah, it's hard to back the Eels for an upset this week. I think it could get pretty ugly. It probably should get ugly. The Eels have been okay the past few weeks, competitive in 2 games and then winning a game. So yeah, no, but it's yeah, it's hard to go past the Roosters and hard to back the Eels. So hopefully they can keep it close for the entertainment's sake. But no, Roosters for me.
Yep, no, I think Roosters will do it quite easily as well. Player to watch. I've got Keely Davis in this department. I feel like she's such a crafty hooker that helps the Knights do what they do so well. And another one of those players that probably goes undeserved and probably doesn't get many raps in a star-studded team. But again, I feel like she's so crucial to what the Roosters are doing at the moment and why they're playing so well.
Yeah, she's definitely underrated, and yeah, I don't know if she's even scored a try this year, but just one of those players that, with the Roosters being so stacked, you don't really hear much of
Yeah.
her. For me, I'm gonna go on the Eels side of things. Tyler Amiatu, she sort of came out of nowhere. She didn't play sort of the first 3 or 4 weeks, and now the last 3 weeks she's really been building on good performance after good performance, and was really damaging last round. And is someone who looks like when they're close to the line could easily score a try. So yeah, my player to watch for the Eels, because you could probably take your pick of any Roosters player, but yeah, I'll go the
Yeah.
Eels side of things.
What about your predicted try scorer in this one?
Well, I'm feeling like you'll do the similar or same one, so I'll go Kelly or Sir, just depending on what you've done, or if you haven't done them, then I'll lock in probably Kelly.
That's perfect. I've locked in Jess Surges, so I'll take that.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Look, see, honestly, we've been on the same page pretty much all episode. How good's this? It's getting the business in now.
Yeah.
So we're starting to go, I think we've got a couple more weeks and finals footy. Can't wait for it. I think we're seeing some of these really good teams starting to flex their muscles. If you had to call a grand final now, who's your 2 teams in it?
Oh, definitely. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh, it's just glitched a little bit. Am I all good?
Yeah, you're all good.
Yeah, no, I got it back. Just lagged out for a moment. Or got to say the Roosters. I would have said Raiders a few weeks ago, but probably the Knights. Probably the Knights.
Yeah.
Just then maybe Broncos. Yeah, Roosters, Knights, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm on the same page there, Roosters and Knights. So get around it, guys. Get around both the pages. Watch Her Footy, all the NRLW information, Women's Rugby League, fantastic to helping grow the game as well. So Alex are now doing a marvelous job, an amazing job, really. Enjoy some rest. I know the Sydney trip's still affecting you a bit there, but we've got some fatigue in the house. Got little Bub, got Sydney trips. So enjoy a few days off and get back into it when the footy starts on the weekend, Alex.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think, no, I think we definitely aren't. We forgot to put up the tips post last week
Yes.
on the best week we did. So we'll make sure we don't forget that. It's a bit of a crazy week last week. I don't know how we forgot, but yeah, we'll put those up, and hopefully 5 and 5 this week for both of us.
It might be an omen. Maybe we need to go a bit less. maybe we could go bad this week. Next week, we're not putting them back up. We're going for 5 and 5.
Yeah, we might have to. We'll see how we go this week.
We will.
All
All right.
good.
Thank you for listening, guys. Appreciate all the love once again. I know both pages really do. Thank you once again for listening. Enjoy your week.